Game over, Jey Uso ready to step up, Roman Reigns' master plan revealed. Why Brock Lesnar squashed John Cena at WrestlePalooza, reason potentially revealed. Roman Reigns may be on the brink of a major evolution in his Bloodline saga following the latest episode of Monday Night Raw. The original Tribal Chief returned to support the Usos in a high-stakes Tornado Tag Team match where they faced off against Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. With the assistance of Reigns, the Usos secured a hard-fought victory, demonstrating once again the strategic power of the Bloodline faction. After the match, Reigns reunited with Jey Uso in a moment that seemed more than just a simple show of solidarity. The Tribal Chief praised Jey for his recent actions, signaling a potential grooming process for the younger Uso, possibly positioning him as the next Ulafala and ultimately the future Tribal Chief. This dynamic hints at a shift in the Bloodline hierarchy, with Roman appearing to invest in Jey's growth and legacy. Over the past few months, Jey has transformed under Reigns' guidance, adopting a more focused, championship-driven mindset. His evolution into what fans are now calling the Yeet Master suggests a new chapter for the faction, one where Jey could inherit not just titles, but the influence and authority that come with being a leader within the Bloodline. Reigns' mentorship may well set the stage for a generational shift, passing the torch to Jey while maintaining the dominance of the faction at the top of WWE. To further solidify their dominance, the concept of adding a right-hand man to the faction has emerged as a compelling possibility. Historically, this role has been crucial in the Bloodline structure, previously filled by Jey himself during his earlier run in the faction. A strong, loyal ally handling external threats while Reigns and Jey focus on championships and leadership has always been central to maintaining the Bloodline's supremacy. In this context, Roman could be looking to introduce a new figure to fill this important position, creating a fresh dynamic while maintaining the faction's ruthless efficiency. One intriguing candidate for this role is Tama Tonga. The towering 68 star made his televised WWE debut at Night of Champions, where he assisted Solo Sikoa in defeating Jacob Fatu to claim the United States Championship. Tala's debut was accompanied by significant hype, particularly given his reputation from his days in NJPW. However, his transition to WWE has not matched the expectations set by his early promise. Since his debut, Tala's momentum has been inconsistent, with the alliance with Solo Sikoa under the MFT banner not generating the level of dominance many anticipated. He has had very limited singles exposure, with only one notable victory against Jey Uso on SmackDown in early August, leaving fans questioning how his potential could be fully utilized. Recognizing that Tama Tonga's talents may be underutilized on the Blue brand, Roman Reigns could opt to bring him over to Raw as the new right-hand man. This move could serve multiple purposes. It would allow Tama to re-establish himself as a credible powerhouse within WWE, provide the faction with a dedicated enforcer to handle rivalries before they reach Reigns or Jey, and inject fresh energy into the Bloodline narrative. If positioned correctly, Tama could emulate the role Jey once held, acting as a first line of defense while gaining the opportunity to prove his dominance and assert his presence within the faction. For Tama, joining forces with Reigns could finally translate his potential into a sustained, impactful WWE career, giving fans a renewed reason to pay attention to his trajectory. Meanwhile, the shifting dynamics within the Uso family continue to create tension and speculation. Since Roman Reigns advised Jey to focus on personal glory and carrying the family legacy, Jey has transformed into a more self-driven competitor, prioritizing championships and influence over teamwork. While this evolution may serve the Bloodline's long-term strategy, it has not sat well with his twin, Jey Uso. Big Jim's frustration stems from observing Jey increasingly reflect Reigns' mentality, adopting strategies and attitudes that emphasize personal gain over the traditional team-first approach that the Usos have long embodied. Jimmy's resistance to this change highlights the potential for internal conflict, as his loyalty to family traditions clashes with Jey's newfound alignment with Reigns' philosophy. This developing rift between the Uso brothers sets the stage for a dramatic storyline. With Reigns actively mentoring Jey, the younger Uso may view Jimmy's resistance as a liability, potentially leading to a shocking betrayal. Such a scenario would not only deepen the complexity of the Bloodline's narrative, but also create high-stakes tension for WWE programming, keeping fans invested in every interaction. The potential of Jey turning on his twin adds a layer of unpredictability to the faction, blending familial loyalty with ambition and the pursuit of power. Reigns' influence on Jey could ultimately redefine the internal hierarchy, shifting alliances and leaving audiences guessing about the future of the Usos' bond. All these elements together suggest that the Bloodline may be entering a new phase. The reintroduction of Roman Reigns as an active guiding force, combined with Jey's transformation and the possible addition of Tama Tonga as a right-hand man, positions the faction for a fresh chapter filled with intrigue, power struggles, and championship pursuits. While nothing is confirmed, the storyline potential is vast, and the narrative threads laid down over the past few weeks indicate that WWE is carefully crafting a long-term plan for the Bloodline's evolution. Fans are left to speculate whether the next generation of leadership within the faction will cement its dominance or introduce new challenges that could test the loyalty and resilience of all members. Ultimately, the renewed focus on mentorship, internal power shifts, and strategic alliances reinforces Roman Reigns' position not only as a dominant competitor, but also as a masterful architect of the Bloodline's legacy. Whether Tama Tonga steps into a pivotal role, Jey fully embraces his path as a successor, or Jimmy resists the changes, the unfolding storyline promises intense drama and high-stakes competition in the weeks to come. The WWE Universe can anticipate a blend of championship ambition, family conflict, and faction strategy that continues to keep the Bloodline at the center of Raw's most compelling narratives. The next chapter is set to explore power, loyalty, and legacy like never before, leaving fans eager to see how these intertwined stories evolve and which wrestlers rise or fall as the saga progresses. Why Brock Lesnar squashed John Cena at WrestlePalooza? Reason potentially revealed. John Cena is steadily approaching the final chapter of his legendary wrestling career, currently navigating what WWE has dubbed his retirement tour. This tour has been remarkable in many ways, marking significant milestones in Cena's career. During this run, he captured his record-breaking 17th World Championship, cementing his place as one of WWE's all-time greats. Fans also witnessed a side of Cena rarely seen over the past 2 decades, as he embraced a heel persona, showcasing a darker, more aggressive version of himself. Adding to the significance of this tour, Cena was featured in the main event of WrestleMania 41, once again demonstrating that even in his final months, he remains a central figure in WWE storylines. However, despite the celebratory tone of his retirement tour, his recent encounter with Brock Lesnar at WrestlePalooza shocked and confused fans. Cena was completely dominated and manhandled in a match that left audiences struggling to comprehend the reasoning behind the squash. The level of destruction inflicted by Lesnar on Cena was so severe that it immediately became a topic of debate among wrestling fans and analysts alike. Many wondered why Lesnar, a top-tier superstar in his own right, would need to be booked in such a decisive manner over Cena, a legend whose career has been built on respect, resilience, and consistent championship-level performance. To date, WWE has offered little in terms of explanation, leaving room for speculation and controversy surrounding the bout. Professional wrestling veteran Conan recently weighed in on this match, attempting to shed some light on the possible reasoning behind Lesnar's overwhelming victory. Speaking on his podcast Keep In at 100, the former WCW World Television Champion provided his perspective on the unusual booking decision. Conan suggested that the match was orchestrated in a way that would ultimately set Lesnar up for a future storyline involving Braun Breaker. According to Conan, the squash was less about Cena himself and more about elevating another talent, using Lesnar as the bridge to enhance Breaker's position within WWE. Conan expressed his confusion over the logic behind the decision, noting that Cena had faced Lesnar in the past under similar circumstances, including an earlier period when Lesnar dominated him with suplexes and F5s. He questioned why WWE would need to repeat such a scenario, especially if there was no intention of booking a rematch. I don't understand, if they're not going to have a rematch, why he beat him so convincingly. Didn't we see this 10 years ago when he did all those suplexes on him and all that? Conan asked, highlighting the lack of narrative clarity from a fan and insider perspective. Conan further elaborated that he initially believed the match was designed to build toward a potential rematch in Boston, perhaps as part of Cena's farewell tour. He imagined that the storyline could have served as a setup for Cena's final high-profile confrontation, giving fans a satisfying conclusion to his long-standing rivalry with Lesnar. However, as Conan noted, information emerging after WrestlePalooza suggested that the match may have been intended primarily to position Lesnar for a feud with Braun Breaker, potentially extending into WrestleMania. While Conan recognized the strategic intention, he questioned the necessity of putting Cena in such a vulnerable position to achieve it. I thought maybe that we're going to have a rematch in Boston, but from what I'm hearing, they're setting him Lesnar up for Braun Breaker and WrestleMania. But I don't think you got to destroy John Cena to do that, he explained. The match itself has sparked widespread debate within the WWE Universe. Cena, who has only 4 appearances remaining on his current contract, is set to have his final match on December 13 during the upcoming Saturday night's main event. fans and commentators alike have questioned whether it was necessary to book Cena in such a dominant loss against Lesnar, particularly given the significance of his farewell tour. Many argue that Cena's legacy does not require further justification through a squash, and that the match could have been booked in a way that highlighted both men without diminishing Cena's stature. Despite the criticisms, some speculate that WWE may have seen an opportunity to use Lesnar to put over the next generation of talent, with Braun Breaker being the apparent beneficiary. By having Lesnar decisively defeat Cena, WWE potentially elevates Lesnar's credibility as a formidable force while simultaneously signaling to fans that Breaker is poised for a major storyline push. Nevertheless, this approach carries risks, as many fans feel that Cena's legacy should be protected and celebrated during his retirement run, rather than used primarily as a tool to elevate other talent. It is worth noting that Cena's contribution to WWE has been immense, and his retirement tour has provided fans with moments of nostalgia, excitement, and high-stakes storytelling. His heel turn, championship achievements, and main event appearances have reinforced his impact on the industry, reminding audiences why he remains one of wrestling's most respected and beloved figures. Yet, the WrestlePalooza encounter with Lesnar stands out as a controversial moment in what has otherwise been a well-crafted farewell tour. As December 13 approaches, attention now shifts to Cena's final match, which promises to be a defining moment in his career. Whether WWE can deliver a satisfying conclusion that honors Cena's legacy, while balancing the ongoing elevation of newer talent, remains to be seen. Fans continue to debate the reasoning behind the WrestlePalooza squash, reflecting broader questions about how WWE manages the legacies of its legends while simultaneously building for the future. Ultimately, John Cena's final months in WWE serve as both a celebration of a storied career and a reminder of the unpredictable nature of professional wrestling storytelling. His encounters, including the controversial loss to Brock Lesnar, illustrate the delicate balance WWE seeks to maintain between honoring legends and pushing emerging talent. While some fans remain critical of the booking choices, there is no denying that Cena's impact on the industry will resonate long after his final match, cementing his status as one of WWE's greatest icons.